Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Chuck Ruth. I've been helping out with the Yorktown bands here for about 25 years in any way I can. But, please remember to silence our electronic devices so that the performers aren't annoyed by 15 people calling in the audience. That would be great. We're going to open this evening's concert with the jazz band. You're going to hear a lot of different bands this evening. You're going to hear the jazz ensemble, the symphonic band, a drum club, a wind ensemble, and we'll probably get all that done in under an hour, maybe. So we're opening with the jazz ensemble, again under the direction of Mr. Arnett. They will be playing Coco Loco, Tomorrow is Always a Good Day, and River City Blues. Please welcome the jazz band. By the way, that song and the next one features Vincent Machuki on trombone. Their last piece will feature Rebecca Knox on alto sax. Wave it, everybody, Rebecca. And Maddox Miller on guitar. Wave it, everybody, Maddox. Well, here's something you don't see every day. This is the Drum Club. They are an after-school group that meets voluntarily to explore more areas in the percussion field. And this piece is called Lids, for perhaps obvious reasons, maybe not. It's called Lids. And the interesting thing about this is it says it's scored for, quote, as many metal and rubber trash cans as you can find. Unquote. This also happens to be a preview of a section of the upcoming Pride of Yorktown's marching band, which is titled Metal to Metal. So please welcome Lids when they're ready to play here. Well, welcome them. How can that make you smile, huh? Congratulations to drums. The only thing I've heard anything close to that would be walking the streets in New Orleans. How many been to New Orleans? Anybody out there? Sounds like kind of that kind of thing you might see on a street corner, that's for sure. Give them another hand. Liz. Next up is the Band Boosters with a special presentation. Ashley Davis, welcome, the president of the Band Boosters.
Thank you. I have with me Vice President Angie Irwin this evening as well. Angie and I kind of have this joke amongst ourselves that like we do this left brain, right brain thing, and together we're able to form one brain that gets things done. We have been working together for a number of years and have seen a lot of growth in the program. And I'll be honest with you, this evening's kind of bittersweet for me because I have been with a lot of these kids who are getting ready to graduate out since they were coming up from middle school. And it is an absolute honor to be part of their journey through learning how to be, starting out for the very first time with their instrument, to becoming great musicians and getting ready to go out into the world and to create the background to our lives that we have every day. You know, you hear someone on the radio and that's a musician that started out somewhere, a band somewhere. Football games, pep rallies, basketball games. These kids provide so much to our daily existence. I think they all deserve a round of applause. Thank you. Also, I think there's a number of you in the audience, all friendly faces I see, that also deserve a round of applause. If you were part of the Band Booster Volunteer Army this year, and I don't care if you worked in a football game or a basketball game or pushed the prop last season during marching band season or helped scoop ice cream, would you please stand up? Come on now, don't be shy. It is because of the volunteers in the audience and part of the program that we are able to provide the labor to work those concession stands, football, basketball, to have our fundraisers, to have Dance Fish Fry. We, in the past year, were able to raise over $16,000 for the program. Football concessions, $9,209.64. Basketball concessions, $6,086.56. Solo and ensemble contest, $1,000 plus. Without those funds, we would not be able to supplement what the kids do and keep our costs low for them to be able to do things extracurricularly. So lots and lots of manpower hours go into that. We would love to see any and everyone come out and help, but we really appreciate those who did help this past year. We were able to do the Spring Flower fundraiser this past spring. The kids were able to raise $440.25 for their student account funds, which now puts us at a standing of $15,317.17 for the kids in their accounts. Moving on, recent board elections took place. Current board, there's a couple of people that, there's a couple of people that are stepping down, but there's a couple of people that are stepping in. If you're part of the board, I want you to stand up as I call your name. I'm still going to be your president. Vice President Angie Irwin. Secretary is Joy Willis. Treasurer is David Miller. Communications is Christy Close. And member at large is Jessica Bachman. And I the factor when Jessica comes, Eric comes too. We've got two members that have put in over 5 years with us, and we would like to honor and recognize them this evening. The first one, I cannot say enough about her volunteer heart. She stepped in not as a parent of a kid, as a grandparent of 2 kids. And she was there to help us get starting operations going, opening up the concession stand. She pulled a cart during marching band season. She has just been an absolute godsend. And trust me when I say she will be missed. She will be missed. Miss Deb Nellen, would you please step up? With a nice little cozy tie blanket that has some musical notes on it and some flowers that kind of remind us of her. And a thank you card from us all. And we'd like to say thank you for all that you've done the past couple of years. I really miss everybody.
We're gonna miss you.
We'd also like to honor Nathan Irwin. If Nathan would please step down as well. Nathan is also for a number of years in. Both of his kids are graduated out of the program. And these two kind of come as a package as well. And I'm just going to say, I have said this to as many people as I can this year. These two deserve a definite round of applause because they have agreed to stay on until my youngest graduates. So we also honored Nathan with a nice little cozy blanket and a big thank you card from all of you. So thank you, Nathan, for all of your hard work as well. Last thing I would like to just kind of say is that how many of you think that after this evening's spring concert that music band programs are done for the year? Yeah. Wrong.
That's false. That'd be false.
Yeah. Marching band season's getting ready to start up. We have a program that basically goes all year long. And we have a team of musicians and staff and supporters that is bigger than any athletic team here at Yorktown Community Schools. And we work together as a team, cohesively. So marching band season's getting ready to start in. We've got a couple of dates I would like to announce. We've got a car wash coming up this weekend at the Yorktown Fire Department. They have graciously volunteered their facilities to let us come down and wash as many cars as we can. Donation fundraiser. Plan on coming down if you can. We'll have another one in June. Our first contest for marching band is at Jay County on July 18th, but we have a contest right after that at Muncie Central on July 19th. So if you want to come out and see some really good bands and see us represent the community, it's right in our backyard. We usually are the last one to perform because we're so close to the facility. We don't complain about everybody else getting in and getting their performances done, and then we're usually performing around 10 o'clock. So if you want to make it a late night and come out and hang out, we would love to see you there. State Fair Band Day is going to be, preview night, marching band preview night, community night, ice cream social, July 28th here at the high school, and then State Fair Band Day where we go down and represent at the state level is August 1st at the fairgrounds. Fish Fry will be August 23rd, football concessions will start August through October, and homecoming parades on September 13th. Again, thank you for all that have volunteered this year. I look forward to seeing you again in the future. Appreciate you so much, and thank you for letting me bend your ear for a minute.
Next to perform is this gorgeous group. They are the Symphonic Band. They will be playing 3 songs. The first one is Afterburn. And Afterburn seeks to capture the thrill and emotions of jet flight, especially when those afterburners kick in. And then their second song will be Fiesta de los Bravos, which means Festival of the Brave. And this fiery Spanish original delivers a festive mood and lifts the spirits of us all. And then I'll be back to tell you about the third song after those 2 pieces. Please welcome the Symphonic Band under the direction of Anna. For their final piece, the symphony band has chosen to honor our veterans. So if we have, this is called March of the Armed Forces. So if we have any veterans or family, if you have family who are in the different services, when you hear their service song being played, please stand so we can recognize you, and I'll give you a little clue along the way. United States Coast Guard. The United States Air Force. Thank you for your service. The Symphony Band. Looking forward to them next week. So while the symphony band is coming up, I thought I would steal this book that the seniors presented to Mr. Arnett the other day in class. I think it's appropriate to share this. They think he's writing a book, and so they went ahead and tried to prepare the book for him ahead of time. Here's the book. It's called You Are Not Special by Mr. Arnett. He always threatens he's writing this book, and I think it's pretty much done. But there are some quotes from the book. I'll read a couple. It says, this book contains many insights by one of the preeminent band directors in all of Indiana high schools. One quote was, "Can't you just all stop talking?" Another one was, if you end up working at McDonald's, I expect a discount. The other one is, don't you know what a key signature is by now? Another one is you can't slow down. You just can't slow down. And I was even quoted on one of these. It says, I've got a medication for that. He frequently needs something like that. Sometimes. It's my last time emceeing, and I really enjoyed it. Final couple quotes. The schedule was given to you since the first week of school, and now, an hour before the concert, you're telling me what? And another one famous for him is, let's start at measure 29, same as my age. And it's time to roll the dice and play a new scale. The members of the band will understand that very well. And I think we're now about ready for our senior awards presentation, so I will hand the mic over and say goodbye.
Is it a HIPAA violation? Is that what it's called? I can't remember. I don't know. My lawyer will call you tomorrow. Can we put our hands together for Dr. Ruth? And he's So we've been very blessed to have a large senior class this year. And it's a blessing and a curse because now they're gone, or they're going to be gone, and there's some really big shoes to fill. A lot of talent on the stage, so we're going to miss you. We're going to miss you. Some of you more than others, but we're... Camden, looking at you. You're the one more. No, but this group has been a really great group, and it's going to be tough to replace them. But I'll tell you, we have a lot of kids in the middle school, a lot of kids in the younger band, and there's a lot of talent. And I'm happy to tell you that from where the high school band sets number-wise right now, it looks like the band next year is growing by 20%. So we're really blessed to have a lot of kids involved in music, and thank you for your support. The boosters have put together a little graduation gift that I'd like to give you now, if you'll just indulge me for a moment. Lives in my house. Okay, we have a couple of senior awards we'd like to hand out. The first one is the Dr. Ruth Good Samaritan Award. This goes to someone who we feel has been the most helpful and has been the most accommodating to others and mentoring and just their overall attitude. It also comes with a $50 stipend. To be used if you want to take me to McDonald's. So there's that. This goes to Megan Bueller. The next award we have is the Band Booster Scholarship. Our band boosters are extremely active and, as you know, do all the home basketball games and football games and are doing a great job of helping fund the program and subsidize what we already get from the school. They put together this booster scholarship. It's for $250 to be used for what's ever next. Grace Schroeder. The Louis Armstrong Award goes to the outstanding senior jazz member. This person has played a variety of instruments, has a very unique skill, is very loud when they belch. Do you think they know who it is? Milo Mentis. And last but not least, the John Philip Sousa is the MVP of the band program. This person will be missed. Vincent Machuki.
And the next group, as you know, will be the Wind Ensemble. It's of note that the Wind Ensemble this year went to Newcastle, Indiana a few weeks ago and performed at the Indiana State School Music Association's organizational contest, and they got a gold medal. And there are 3 judges that sit in the back of the auditorium and grade the band, and not always by any means, but all 3 of the judges gave the group a gold medal, and the sight reading group, which they did after the performance, also got a gold medal. So they did fabulous this year, and you're going to hear 2 of the 3 songs that they played there at that contest here tonight. But first, they're going to open the program with Wicked. Any of you have heard of that? Any of you heard of that? It premiered in Broadway in October of 2003, and in 2017, Wicked surpassed Phantom of the Opera to be the 2nd highest grossing musical of all time. What's the first highest musical of all time? Lion King. Lion King remains the winner of all time. So they're going to open with Wicked. Please welcome the Wind Ensemble. before they play their last two songs. Again, the last two songs are ones that they went to Newcastle and performed and got gold on. I want to acknowledge Mr. Miller, the middle school band director back there, who started all these folks out a long time ago. The band, and how about a round of applause for your director, Mr. Miller? Oh, Mr. Arnett. Mr. Arnett. Their final two pieces to end the concert will be Beyond These Years, which is one of the prettiest pieces. I love this piece. And The Last to Defend. Here is the Wind Ensemble.